about to begin. We want to welcome you to the Vampire and Devil Show. We want to welcome you to the Vampire and Devil Show. It's gonna be bloody fun. We're gonna kill everyone. Welcome to the Vampire and Devil Show. With lots of blood and lots of guts. Two horror fanatics and rock and roll nuts. Welcome to the Vampire and Devil Show.
What's up there, ghouls and goblins, spooks and creeps? We are super stoked, as always, to be here with you, rocking out, talking about creepy things, talking about rock things, talking about things. But we're just super stoked for all the love and support you've given the show. Myself and Devil are always really amped up when we get to record and do fun things and have great conversations for you guys. And speaking of great conversations, we are very super stoked to have our first interview as the Vampire and Devil podcast, and we are bringing on our friend, now a friend of the show, and bass player for Lords of Acid, Pretty Boy Floyd, all these other things we're going to talk about, and horror actor as well. We've got DieTrich Thrall joining us right now. DieTrich, thank you so much, my friend. Welcome to the Vampire and Devil podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, totally a pleasure. First and foremost,
man, right? This is the debut show.
It's not our debut show, but it's you're our debut interview.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're the first victim on the slab.
Oh man. Sounds great.
Absolutely.
Well,
for
sort
sure,
of.
man.
We had Ari for a second, but that was kind of sort of on, sort of off, so.
Yeah. It was like on, off. We still interviewed him, but it was sort of a hybrid thing, and the approval came through one of our other, efforts that we do. So we were like, well, we don't want to offend anybody or be like, I thought it was going to be under this, this thing, this like blog or whatever. But now it's on this. We didn't want to confuse anybody, so we just ended up going with the interview under the approval.
Yeah, sure.
But
you're talking about Ari Lehman then, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I met Ari. I know Ari.
Yeah. And it was great. It was a great conversation. We definitely had a great time with that. So yes, fans, go ahead and check out that interview on Empire Extreme if you like the Devil's work. But anyway, DieTrich, again, thank you so much, man. And you're getting ready to hit the road with Lords of Acid on the upcoming tour in May.
Yeah, I got about a week, and then I'm packing up and heading out there for rehearsals, and we're gonna throw down and get everything on the. It's been like It's been 4 years since we saw each other last on the 2020 tour, and then the year before that was in 19. We thought we were coming right back. We did not know that it was going to take this long to get the band back out there. We had really good vibes out there. The Pretty and Kink album had just dropped. Mm-hmm. And we thought, well, we'll be right back, and we'll see everybody in 9 months, and we'll come back out and we'll do it all over again. And we kind of went through with that plan, and we had the tour announced and everything. And of course, this is towards the probably September, October of 19. Mm-hmm. So then we're planning to come back in like February, March of 20. And of course, a bunch of stuff happened, and I drove from Eastern time zone all the way out to Los Angeles. It was a 3-day drive, and sometimes I'll do that just because to be able to bring a little bit more stuff with me, but also at the time, everything was kind of sketchy with flights and stuff. So, is it safe? Nobody knew. So, but I thought I was implementing and practicing some of my social distancing stuff while I was out there on the drive. And we got there, we rehearsed the one afternoon, and then the following day, Praga showed up with the Belgian crew, and then we got the LA canceled everything for California, and then like within a couple hours, an hour later, the whole country got shut down. So I soon found myself, we went out and had a bite, had a drink, and caught up for a little bit. But then it wasn't long before I was driving back, 3 days back. So it was a week-long journey that didn't really go too far. But I know that even at the time, I was definitely thinking that, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. It does sound pretty serious. Maybe we get away with doing some of the Southwest, maybe run through the South there. But I was thinking to myself, even back then, I was thinking, I don't know how we're going to get into New York City. How is that even going to work with everything going on? It was but we didn't even make it, out of the gate. So that's how that went.
That's crazy, man, for sure. And for anybody who's unfamiliar, but you've been with Lords of Acid for quite a while. How did you get involved with Lords of Acid?
I think 17 is when I started talking with him about the fall tour, and then earlier that year, I had done a European tour with some friends of mine called Mad Life, and a lot of the same individuals involved with management, A&R, and stuff like that. We kind of connected some dots, and it felt to me, I was like, this is absolutely. I had been a fan of Lords back, during the Lust days, back in the day. But I was thinking, I'm a huge fan of Prince, and I thought this is like a perfect kind of taking that kind of vibe and jumping into Lords of Acid made a lot of sense to me.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Devil, my friend, let's kick it up to you. Why don't you take DieTrich to the Inferno?
Oh yeah, man. So yeah, like you're saying, being with Lords of Acid all the time. So yeah, you were talking about your traveling. You're a connoisseur of traveling. Every time I see you, man, you're literally like this state, that state, some other state, this other state. I'm going to this state. Do you not like staying in one spot very long?
I just like to keep things going. I really just I'm usually working on one project or another, and it's usually my think that the whole perspective there is that I don't think anything is going to come up to you on your front door and say, hey, I think you got to go out there and find it. So I kind of ride that kind of philosophy, and any chance that I see a good combination of things to make happen, I do my best to make them happen.
Oh yeah, and then like you said with the Lords of Acid now, are you excited for the fans to see and hear the new Lords of Acid singer Gigi?
Yeah, we're all really excited. She's got a lot of energy over there, and they're working on the new album. I don't think it's not quite finished yet, so I'm very anxious to hear some new material. And also, right, yeah, the energy level is just, we can't wait to get on stage, and next week we'll be in rehearsals, so we'll get to finally meet her in person.
Yeah, and then you're also, like we mentioned a minute ago, you're hanging out and rocking out with our old school heavy metal thrash guys, freaking goth 80s metal, whatever you want to call them, and Pretty Boy Floyd. How was it like working with those guys?
Yeah, Steve's great. I have a great time with Steve. It kind of came about on social. We were just communicating on there, and he had asked me what kind of plans we had coming up, and I said, well, this was last year. We didn't have a lot of. Lords have been talking about going out in the fall, but then when we found out it was going to be spring, we're like, I got the whole summer fall open, so I'm ready. Let's go. And so, with that in mind, we jumped right into. I think a batch of dates in the Midwest, and then we headed overseas for Europe. Went back for the UK, and then I just got back from Brazil with them. That was my first time down there. Very cool experience. We played Glam Fest down there with some other bands. It's always interesting because we're playing these glam festivals with a bunch of bands that I haven't had a chance to share the stage with. So that's also pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, on this show, our fans know that we're all about horror, and I know that you're a huge horror guy. We're just going to talk a little bit about your horror experience. We're going to talk a little bit about the first thing that I remember seeing you in, Clown Motel. How was
Yeah,
it like doing Clown Motel?
Clown Motel was a lot of fun. The producers of the movie were looking for music, and we started talking about submitting a song. And I had, the Beauty and the Suffering material ready to go, and they were basically asking for a song. But I said, I can put my band together, and we can get out to Vegas for this shoot. We could do a band performance. And they liked that idea. I pitched them the idea. They seemed to like that idea. So that's what we ended up doing. We went out there and did the band performance for the song Reveille.
Yeah. So, Vampire, I know you have a question about Clown Motel for DieTrich that we've been talking about. Why don't you pitch that over to him?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Clown Motel, it's right on the other side of that wall in my horror room with all my collection. It has been incredibly difficult to find a physical copy of Clown Motel 2. Is there anything that you can tell us about a potential release for physical copies?
It's a good question. I don't actually have a copy of Clown Motel 2, I don't think. So why don't we, here's the thing. A couple things. First of all, let me go in chronological order here to make it make sense. So when we went to the premiere of Clown Motel 1, I remember thinking to myself, I got kind of a cool idea to have my character Thrall come in and I had this idea. So we were sitting there at the Rainbow. I think after the premiere, we went to the Rainbow and grabbed some food. We're just schmoozing about different stuff, and I pitched them this idea about how my character would have been the last person to see these women who were, related to these people who are now looking for them after the first Clown Motel movie. They loved the idea, so then that's what we did. That's how I ended up in the second one. And I do know that we just inked everything behind the scenes in the past few days. That the third movie is they're putting it together right now. I'm confirmed to be in the movie. We're going to announce it in the next few days. So that's number 3. I don't have much more information than that. But what was the question again?
Physical copies.
So what I can do is I'll find out more about that. I know that I know they do like a limited run. So I'll find out. I need one too. I have to. I'm not sure. I think I have the first one, the second one. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check, but we'll figure it out. So.
No, absolutely, for sure. And we jumped into the horror stuff, but you would also mention Beauty and the Suffering. So, Devil, I want to take it back just a step before we continue with the next horror movie on DieTrich's roster. Talk a little bit about Beauty and the Suffering, your personal project. We'd love to hear about your getting that going and submitting music for things.
Yeah, after Marazine kind of ended, we had a band member pass away, and we weren't sure what to do, and we released a couple songs on our own, but we weren't able to get the live band back up and running, and it can be a tricky thing when you're an independent band. So I was doing a lot of writing on my own, and so I launched the Beauty and the Suffering project, and from there I wrote dozens and dozens of songs. There's a lot of material there to mine, but when I launched the project visually and when I released the initial music, it was I picked 3 songs, and then we were working on another batch of songs, and the cover for Your Love was what came out of that batch. So yeah, we did a initial trilogy of songs backed by 3 zombie-themed music videos, only 2 of which have been released, largely just because it's really expensive to be the producer, the financer, the writer, doing a lot of stuff on my own, and then I still plan on releasing the 3rd video and a couple of the other ones I worked on for the 2nd EP. But it's just going to take a little bit of time. I've been very busy doing some of the legacy touring, and I'm literally jumping from project to project, and there's other smaller creative projects that I'm always working on in between. So it's usually just we'll get the timing going. I know that everything is in place to move in that direction to get more live shows and more music out there. So we'll just have to see how everything comes together in the next year.
Absolutely, man, for sure. Devil, let's kick it back to you, brother, and let's take it to the macabre.
Yeah. So like you said, going into Clown Motel and stuff like that, obviously, you're a horror enthusiast. What was your favorite horror movie growing up as a kid?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a few. American Werewolf in London was definitely a favorite. The Halloween movies were always, obviously a huge, scared the shit out of me. So I was upset when I was like peeking around the couch, watching it from, behind the couch. What else? I know that I was just talking about Event Horizon the other night with Cosmic Horror. That was a lot. I love that movie. Some of those. What was it? What's the one with Alice Cooper? He makes a cameo. He makes a small. What was that one?
The Prince of Darkness is really good.
Prince of Darkness, definitely a favorite. The whole that was another favorite right there. So the whole idea that what did they say in there, that Christ was kind of warning them, but that this danger was a very real thing, and that that was awesome. One of Carpenter's best. Let me think here. Off the top of my head, that's a bathroom. I mean, I know that you guys remember that Chuck Norris. I don't know, but it's more of like it kind of reminded me of Chuck Norris Silent Rage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So right, and I know that now in retrospect with all the superhero movies coming out, it kind of felt like a Lost X-Men kind of movie or something, like, you know what I mean? I kind of got that vibe from that now. So when I watched it, I have that kind of thing, in mind when I'm watching it. Like, this is while they were still formulating that whole X-Men vibe over here, Charles and fucking Magneto are over here doing that stuff, but there's all this other mutant government experimentation going on. I love that movie. It's still one of my favorites.
So you get into the Clown Motel, you get into that movie. Did you kind of have an act to try to put yourself into your foot into the acting, or was that just something that just came up and now?
No, it's funny. It's funny that you bring that up, because you guys have watched the second one. You guys have both seen the second one.
No, I haven't got a chance to see the second one yet.
I know it was streaming for a while. Did you, Jay? Did you say you saw it?
Yeah, I've seen the second one.
Okay. Well, the whole thing there, I kind of felt like, I was kind of reading the script, and I was like kind of going, I kind of get this vibe. It kind of sounds like an alternate universe, Rebel Without a Clue, total dipshit version of me. And I kind of dove into it. I went full method, and I dove right in and just kind of went, like that whole cliched, over the top Rebel Without a Clue rock vibe, and that's kind of what we did there. It just kind of went with that. There's a lot of improvised scenes there. I feel like, a lot of times when I'm doing they gave me the flexibility to do that. Some people I've worked with, they want you to stick right with everything and not move around too much out of what's already there. And some of them will let you, pitch some ideas and say, kind of idea, let's try this. And I'm really good at getting these ideas so that they can hear what I'm trying, kind of see what I'm trying to say, and then we run with it. And that whole the end there where I'm yelling at the clown, it's and I've got it on. It's a clip that I put on YouTube, but that was completely improvised. I was like, hey guys, I got an idea. What if I, like, all of a sudden I'm completely, a complete moron throughout the entire movie, but the clowns show up and I'm like, oh, it's clowns. It's like it's nothing weird about it at all. I'm pissed off at them, and I'm yelling at them. I thought that that's kind of where that was coming from. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, so going into that too, you just announced that you are getting prepared to do another movie.
Right. So the new Clown Motel is confirmed, and they'll probably be announced in the next couple 3 days, something along that line. And then I know that I just spoke with a friend of mine. I worked with him on the Lords of Acid music video for Hell Does Exist. It's called Big Bad CGI Monsters. So,
Yeah.
well, I just got the sides for the scenes that I'm in. So that looks like that's going to be a fun one too.
Awesome.
I kind of come from this perspective that all of these films are tapping into an alternate universe Thrall, and there's a lot of Thralls that don't make it, man. But there's that's that kind of a thing,
For sure, because I mean, you just announced Big Bad CGI Monsters. I mean, you've got Closet Monster, you've got the Macabre and all that kind of stuff. Like, and a lot of these movies are like super duper fun. And Devil and I talk about this all the time. Like, do you have a favorite kind of like, goofy production company like for horror movies? Like Troma? Are you into Full Moon? Are you into like because you got like Troma, which does the classic Troma stuff, Class of Nukem High and Toxic Avenger. You've also got things like, with Full Moon, where you've got Puppet Master and Ginger Dead Man and, Killjoy and Evil Bong.
I don't have like a narrowed down studio or anything like that, but I mean, I'm kind of partial to anthologies. I love, short, kind of 10, 15, 20 minutes in and out, just, telling something weird. In that kind of vibe. I love anthologies. So, and then it's just really just depends on the film itself. I think I'm pretty even when I'm watching something that I'm going, this isn't what I was thinking it was. I can kind of get into it for the shots and like what the crew and the director was trying to. I can fill in some blanks on my own and even learn something from a film, even though. Maybe the complete end result isn't an A+. I see what's going on here. It's still, I'm still learning something from the experience here. Try to get something out of it.
Absolutely. Considering that you are such a journeyman when it comes to your bands and music and all that kind of stuff, are you a going to the movies kind of guy? Do you try to go whenever you can, or is it kind of like streaming and stuff like that because you're out so often, kind of the way for you right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I just got back from seeing the movie Civil War, which I loved it. I thought the third act was really strong. They came in and nailed the landing. As far as like streaming versus going to the theater, I mean, look, the experience is a lot different in the theater. You get sound and giant screen. It makes a big difference. And it's the difference between this. I watched Dune at home on Max. It's a great movie. I wanted every fucking costume. Like, I want every one of those. I can wear them on stage. Just fucking amazing costuming. And then as far as like Dune 2, I saw it in the theater now twice, and it was amazing. I love that. Did you guys see it?
I saw the
I
first
haven't gotten
Dune.
to see Dune 2 yet.
Yeah, I saw Dune 1, and it blew me away. I mean, I was a huge fan of the original Dune, but this one,
the Lynch version.
The old school, the 80s version.
I think it still holds up. It still
it's still an amazing movie. Yeah.
It's just like we're lucky that we have 3 different versions of Dune to watch, and you said like Lynch I think it's still solid. We still enjoy watching it. There's a lot there to to still go whoa. But then this new Dune that they just did, the sequel. If you thought the first one might have been a little tame, the second one is mind blowing. There's nothing held back, and we actually. Are you familiar with? Did you read any of the books or anything?
Yeah.
So we actually go to Giedi Prime in Dune 2, and there's a whole segment there, and we get to learn a little bit more about Fade, which was something that we hadn't really gotten a chance in the other movies.
Yeah.
And it's worth it too, because I really felt like when your villain or when your adversary is complicated and more about them, and you kind of get their vibe or whatever, it makes for a far more compelling situation there. You're like, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in that. After you go to his home planet and you kind of get to meet him, and you get to see how the Harkonnens are over there. It's pretty intense. It's absolutely worth seeing. There's a lot going on there.
No, yeah. So, with your rock and roll experience and the acting experience, you can kind of see behind me, I have a wall of Rob Zombie posters. What's the chance of Thrall getting in a zombie movie?
Zombie movie?
Yeah, Rob Zombie movie.
A Rob Zombie movie? What do you mean?
Yeah, what are the chances of you trying to, get your way into being in a Rob Zombie movie?
Oh, that'd be fun. I think it looks to me like, from watching the zombie films that I've seen, and I've seen most of them. I think I've seen them all, actually. It looks like he's pretty good with working with some of the people that he's comfortable with working with, which is, I think, very common in film stuff. I've noticed that a lot of people stick with the people that they're comfortable with working with, that they have a history with, and that they know they can get the performance out of them that they want. So it makes a lot of sense. That'd be fantastic. Obviously that would be an amazing experience.
Yeah, I'd like to see you in that, or maybe in a Terrifier movie. I think Thrall in a Terrifier movie would be cool too.
That would be awesome. I just kind of became more familiar with him. Okay? So I've seen Terrifier 1 and 2, but there's one more, right? There's the other one that's not named Terrifier.
It's Terrifier. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's called All Hallows Eve.
That one. I haven't seen that one yet, and it's queued up. So if I get a chance to see it before I go, great. And if not, it's sitting there in the queue list.
It's an anthology designed movie, so I think you might get into it because it's designed kind of like, a Trick or Treat or a Creep Show.
Yeah, no, I like that. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the third Terrifier is scheduled to come out later this year.
I did hear about that. So is that like a Halloween
Yeah, like right around that time. It's like a Christmas Terrifier at Halloween, but also we've got the long awaited Beetlejuice 2 later this year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I did hear about that.
Yeah, so that's going to be really cool. Michael Keaton back, Jenna Ortega introduced, Winona Ryder.
Right, it's her daughter.
Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for that. I think that's going to be great. Devil and I asked this to an interview one time when we were talking with Wednesday 13, and I think it's a fun one to ask you. Are you a Munsters guy or an Addams Family guy?
I didn't want. That's the one I didn't. Isn't that what Zombie did? Right? He just did it.
Oh well, he did a Munsters movie, and I'm not specifically referencing Rob's Munsters. I just mean kind of in general. Do you find yourself to be a Munsters guy, or do you find yourself to be an Addams Family guy? If you bond with one over the other.
I got an answer for this. You're kind of going back and forth. Those are kind of the same thing. I kind of feel, in the sense that I think that, if you're going to ask me something like that, I know this is not horror related, and we're kind of in a horror theme here, but I feel like it's like a Beatles or Elvis, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So I'm more Elvis. Beatles, you got a group of guys, group of people that you do stuff, but Elvis goes out there and is solo. Mm-hmm. And as far as that goes, I've always kind of, Mad Max, kind of, right. And I guess what I'm saying is that in order to do the things you had mentioned earlier about, going out there to go, the traveling and stuff like that. Yeah, I just go and do stuff. So it's more, if I sat there and waited for everybody to go with me, I never would have, left. So in that sense, but I know that Addams Family versus Munsters. No, I don't have a personal preference on that per se, but I think I kind of get where you're going with that. And I said, I'll twist it around here. There's a different one.
Nah, totally, man, absolutely. Devil, you still got the lead on that one, man, because we've got you and Wednesday with the Munsters. You've got me with the Addams Family, and we've got DieTrich loving them both. So you're still up on that one, brother. But let's kick it back to you, man, as we cover a couple of more topics, so we don't eat up too much of Dietrich's time.
Oh yeah. So like I said, with the music and the movie, do you have plans on maybe going the route of possibly Trent Reznor and maybe doing some kind of scores for movies and stuff like that? Maybe go into that realm too?
Scores would be interesting. Actually, I'm kind of going. So it's interesting that you bring this up because for the past couple years, I've actually been doing a lot of. So a friend of mine in Oklahoma that we filmed the music video for Beauty and the Suffering with. We spent some time tweaking it, and then I found out recently that he had a stroke, so he's not doing anything at the moment. But before that happened, I said, I'm in town for a little bit. Let's do a photo shoot, and we did this photo shoot. And he was kind of feeding this idea to me. He goes, hey, have you ever thought about doing a Thrall movie? And I said, no. I mean, I got nothing here. I got absolutely nothing. I got nothing. And I was kind of thinking to myself, what would I do? What would I do? And then I had a dream, and it all hit me all at once. So that's kind of what I've been working on for the past couple of years. I've been flying out to Vegas, LA. I was in Chicago, and I've been doing some stuff in Oklahoma City and Dallas, where I'm doing a bunch of photo shoots based on this anti-hero Thrall. And I haven't done a lot of talking about it yet because I still feel like it's in the early stage of development. But that's probably it's kind of tied into the music of Beauty and the Suffering. It's kind of tied into a lot of the stuff, the branding that I'm putting together. So it's all one baby step at a time, and that is kind of what I'm working on. So in terms of the question there, I feel like that's definitely been taking up a lot of my energy, and as I'm exploring script and people I could possibly work with, I have a ton of ideas I would bring to this project and make it very simple. To make, because a film is a whole different beast than an album, and in terms of cost and in terms of the amount of people involved. But I think I have a pretty good idea of how to at least get some things cooking. So I've been talking about making an announcement about it for months, and it's just, I thought it was going to be before the tour, but now I'm thinking maybe after the tour, but it'll be pretty soon. I've got a ton of material just sitting here, just like I do with the Beauty and the Suffering stuff. And I think that, I'm just waiting for a few more things to be in order there to do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you working on any more Beauty and the Suffering music too?
Well, the Beauty and the Suffering stuff, like I mentioned, there's dozens of songs. It's just a matter of getting it post-production and financing for that and getting it done. So yes, there's a ton more, and it's largely in the 80%, 85%, 90% finished. We just need to get it into post-production. So.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add there, Vampire, before we let DieTrich come out of the catacombs?
Yeah, man. Just a couple of small things. DieTrich, I'm a big Misfits guy, and you played with Doyle for a little while. I'd love to hear about your experiences playing with him.
Well, yeah, that was so I know that when I launched the Beauty and the Suffering project, we keep on going back and forth, but there's a whole chronology here. So we're talking like 13, 14, I did a tour with Beauty and the Suffering, and then the following spring, somebody had mentioned that Doyle was looking for someone to tour with on his upcoming run, and I contacted them right away, and it was like a good vibe there with the management, and I was not in LA, and they were looking for somebody that they there's a little bit more of a gamble. It's still independent music, there's still costs involved to try to get people wherever they need to be, that they're, since they hadn't seen me play yet. So I told them, I said, hey, you know what, here's the story. I'll just cover my own flight. I'll just come out there, and if I feel pretty good, I'll just come out, we'll just throw down. If it works, it works. And if not, it's a good story to tell. But, I went out there and I kicked ass. And we got the tour, and we went and did the tour there. And then I kind of feel like the Doyle tour and the Beauty and the Suffering tour the year before were kind of it's been 10 years of pretty solid touring, with the exception of that COVID gap, which definitely was a real bummer for a lot of people, including myself. A lot of money lost and a lot of time lost, but yeah, that's pretty much how that went. It was I think it was Doyle's second tour, if I remember right, because I think he'd only done one before that under his solo stuff, and that was like right at the beginning of the Abominator album cycle, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but it was a fun tour. It was nice to get back out there, and after not being out there for a little bit before that would have been Beauty and Suffering, and then before that it would have been Marazine before that.
Nice. Yeah, because I saw the inaugural tour because they came through Baltimore, and that was with Left Hand Graham on bass, who had also recorded the record. And I wasn't able to see your leg because I think it was a little bit more like Midwest and out west, I think.
Because I think what happened was we were touring with Mushroom Head. I think we were opening for support for them. Yeah. So there was a few scattered solo shows, like headliner shows of our own, and then it was hooked up with Mushroom Head, and then we did. I want to say we did a few more shows, and then that was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Since I didn't see you on the Doyle tour, just out of curiosity, when you were playing with Doyle, did you play the Devil Wing bass?
I did not.
You did not? No worries, it's all good because I know you're with Schechter and you're also with Coffin Case. How did you get involved with Johnny and how did you get involved with Schechter? As like the final questions from myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like I hit it. I hit the NAMM convention a couple of times, talked with some different folks out there, and then the same thing with as far as the custom the bass that we just didn't get around to it. It was all pretty fast paced, so just kind of dove in and ran, So that's usually what ends up happening. We try to make everything all line up. Some things slip through the cracks and stuff like that. It would have been a cool bass, though. I dig it.
For sure, man. Absolutely. Well, DieTrich, Devil and I can't thank you enough, man, for taking some time out of your evening to hang out with us, to rock out with us, to talk creepy things as well, and spend some time with our fans, man. We really appreciate you being our inaugural interview, but also just being a good guy, a friend of ours, and we really just appreciate your time and that you were down for the experience.
What are you guys? Which one of you guys is in D.C., Baltimore?
Well, both of us, kind of.
Okay.
Devil lives in
I remember you
Pasadena.
guys
I
from the
live
last
in
tour.
Harford County.
Yeah, I definitely remember you guys from the last tour, right?
Yeah.
Or was it 17? Was it 19? 19.
19, yeah, it's Soundstage.
19, we were at the Pretty and Kink tour in Baltimore Soundstage.
Okay, yeah, Soundstage, yeah.
Yeah, we brought the booze.
Yeah, it's a cool venue.
Yeah, man, absolutely, for sure. But thank you guys. Thank you so much again, man. We really, really appreciate it for sure. Thank you so much, Ghouls and Goblins, Spooks and Creeps. I hope you really enjoyed us throwing down, talking creepy things with DieTrich Thrall. Make sure that you're supporting him on all of his socials. Check out the upcoming announcements for Clown Motel 3. Check out Big Bad CGI Monsters as he keeps you guys updated. And make sure that you're catching him out with Lords of Acid next month. We appreciate you guys. Horns up. Bangs out. Thank you to DieTrich Thrall.
What's up? I'm here just rocking the fuck out with my favorite podcast, Vampire and Devil, that is. Woohoo, motherfuckers! Are you ready to rock and roll?